What's up, guys? I'm back to review Flash, episode 4. Where was I last week? I don't even know. People don't really care anyway. So anyway, the reason why I wasn't here last week is because I was really busy, and I gotta tell you guys, I have a confession to make about the Flash. I am not a blind fanboy. Meaning, blind fanboy. What do you mean? I don't like everything of the source material. I don't like everything of the antagonist/protagonist. So, one of my most hated antagonists on the show as a character, as a lazy, last-minute drawn or written character, is Captain Cold. And here's the reason why. My reasoning why I despise Captain Cold as a character is he's just so one-dimensional. He's ridiculous. He feels very lazy, and he doesn't stand out to the other antagonists of the Flash that we get, like Gorilla Grodd or Reverse Flash, or many of the other ones. Mark Hamill's, I forget the name escapes me, but those ones really stand out because they're really diverse and unique. They're not just muscles; they have brains too, and there's a lot more to the character besides like, oh, I'm just a guy with a freeze gun that's just a crook. It just feels very 60s simplistic and one-dimensional. So yeah, that's my reasoning for that. And plus, I mean, his dialogue and his corny-ass dialogue, as I should say, is about as corny as Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin. So, that's my reasoning. You don't have to agree with my opinion. You don't have to disagree with my opinion. That's just my opinion on the Captain Cold character as he was created. And I know he wasn't created for the show. I know he was created in the comics by whoever created the character, whoever writer, which writer may be. But anyway, we're going to talk about this episode because this was a great episode, the resurrection of Firestorm. So let's get into it. At the beginning of the episode, we see that Dr. Stein, he needs to be whole. He needs to be connected. He needs to find a contrapositive. He needs to find, like, the negative to his positive. He needs to find the yin to his yang. So, who does he find? Who else was affected during the day of the particle accelerator explosion? Who can he find as a worthy applicant? So, we see many characters come to take place. Many meaning two. And one of them is Dr. Wyatt, and I believe that's his name, and he's a professor, very intellectual, times sophisticated, very intelligent. That's all I gotta say. He's on that same level of intelligence as Dr. Stein, and they have an interesting and kind of dorky conversation about stuff. And we also have Henry, who is an athlete, former athlete, after the particle accelerator kind of tore his ACL and caused him injury and any chance of becoming an athlete again, but he's a mechanic and he's going to go to college. So anyway, I really like his character, much more interesting than the other one because there's a lot more pathos behind it. But anyway, so they test out this type theory on who will be a worthy candidate for Stein as Firestorm. They test out the first guy, Dr. Wyatt, and it ends up being a failure. And you can already tell by the look of this guy, Dr. Wyatt, he's going to be an antagonist. I mean, first of all, he is so arrogant. He comes off very arrogant. His posture, the way he carries himself, definitely screams, I'm better than you. He's self-indulgent. So those are just 3 things right there. Or 2. But anyway, he ends up leaving, and we see kind of a hinder to he might have some sort of minor capabilities as Firestorm. There's a little flare between the possibility of becoming Firestorm. So they eventually go to Henry. They want it to happen. They tell him all these capabilities he can have as Firestorm, and it's amazing. You could fly. You could shoot freaking fire. I mean, how cool is that? You could help people. You could be selfless. And he turns it down. Basically how it is, he doesn't want to be a hero. He wants to go to college. He wants to live a normal life. He basically just wants to be monotone like everybody else. So, screw him, right? Anyways, that's what Caitlyn says. And he leaves. And she has to kind of go beg him back. And she uses a lot of pathos with the remembering of Robbie. Or I believe that's his name. Her boyfriend. I'm just going to call him Robbie and Mel because that's his real name. But anyway, remembrance of Robbie and how he kind of inspired people. Not inspired, but he kind of saved people's lives and kept their profession at success by saving them. And Caitlyn kind of uses as a motivation and kind of a connection or relatability towards Henry, because Henry lost his dream profession because of the particle accelerator. And the gift that he was given in return kind of gives him the opportunity to give people, to save people in order to keep other innocent civilians' professions. So that was really well put. Really great dialogue between them two, Henry and Caitlyn. I thought that was really well written. Anyway, so eventually he's inspired, he's influenced, he's convinced, and eventually does become Firestorm. We also see this other thing with Wells that happened last episode that I'll recap. He basically comes into Earth 1 through the portal or wormhole, whatever you want to call it, the singularity. He comes through the Earth 1, and we see Barry is actually unnoticed. He's kind of there in the shadows, kind of like they're kind of foreshadowing him a bit here and there. But we also see Barry and Officer Spivot, this lady. They make me smile, man. I can't get over their chemistry. Or not their chemistry, but their very quirky and awkward dialogue, conversation, their banter they have back and forth. It's really great stuff. And it just puts a huge smile on my face in hopes of Barry, going after this girl. You know what I mean? So, anyway, by the end of this episode, we see that they take down this guy, Dr. Wyatt, very easily. Team effort. I pretty much like the new Firestorm. I think he's really cool. He definitely has potential, the actor or the character per se. So I'm hopeful to see what's to come. The ending of this episode is pretty interesting. Dr. Spivot, or not Dr. Captain Officer Spivot mentions a Shark Man, which is actually King Shark from the Flash comics, and we actually see him at the end who grabs Flash, and he is one of the most visually impressive looking creatures or characters on the Flash TV show, because all the other ones were kind of lacking in CG, but this one pretty much looks really crisp and clean. Like, it looks really good for TV budget. So we see Flash going up against him, and Captain Spivot or Officer Spivot attempts to apprehend the Shark Man. I can't believe I'm saying it. But we see Wells uses like this sort of like advanced dart technology or like gun. It's kind of like a dart gun, or I don't know specifically, but it's an Earth 2 type gun that brings down King Shark. And we see that Wells reveals himself to Barry as, I'm Wells from Earth 2. And that's how the episode ends, basically. I'm really excited to see a great cliffhanger end by the writers there. I really like that. So, I'm excited to see what comes next episode. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Really well put together episode. I love the team effort. I love the new character. Well, not love, but I'm growing fond of him, per se. So, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.